Hello everybody and welcome to the Lowe's Motor Speedway for the 2006 Coca-Cola 600 and the 12th race of our 2006 and 2003 season. Kasey Kahne starts off on pole position alongside the points leader in our Nextel Cup Series, Jimmie Johnson, with the Lowe's on his hood that also sponsors this racetrack, looking for his first 600 win. Kasey Kahne looking to get through. Good luck in trouble into turn one. We're already crashing. Matt Kenseth and Carl Edwards into the wall. Early, no caution, we stay green as Jeff Burton got up into Kenseth and Carl Edwards, put them up in the wall, and they both drop back, losing significant positions. And then we continue on this opening lap of racing. Kenseth way off the pace now, running in the last position. Edwards merges back in about mid-pack. We got cars going all over the place. Already a wild start to this race here in Charlotte, as now Edwards will come down pit road as well as Matt Kenseth. Kasey Kahne leads the opening lap of racing, but not for much longer. On lap 3, it is the 48 of Jimmie Johnson out front, leading the Coke 600, which he has done so many times in his career, but has yet to get that elusive Coke 600 win. Can he finally do it tonight? We'll find out. Now he's on a battling lead. Here comes the 6 of Martin. Martin on the inside lane going for the lead. The 6 powers of the inside, trying to fight his way forwards to get his first win of this 2006 campaign and put himself in a good spot to make the chase. He takes the lead away. Kahne runs second. They're a tight battle for third between Hamlin, Riggs, and Jimmie Johnson. And now Kasey Kahne back to the inside of Martin. Some great racing for the lead so far here in the 600. Kahne out front. Johnson had gone to the wall. He's able to keep it going the right direction and catch right back up. And now here comes Scott Riggs, looking maybe 3 wide for the lead here in the Coke 600. What an aggressive move by Scott Riggs. But regardless, this is some phenomenal racing to start this race. Riggs has to lift into turn 1, avoids completely wiping all these guys out. Jimmie bounces up the track. Martin with the nose ahead of Kasey Kahne to the lead. The caution, though, is out on the racetrack. Caution on the track. Do we have a crash down the front straightaway? Matt Kenseth, Reed Sorenson, Ryan Newman involved. It starts when Jeff Green slams Jeff Gordon to the outside wall, then comes down to Reed Sorenson. Green gets turned off Jr. and then slams right back into Reed Sorenson, who spins into the outside wall. Jeff Gordon gets drilled by Paul Menard. They go crashing. Bobby Labonte gets sent around and drilled by J.J. Yeley. And Kenseth, oh my goodness, what an impact into the back of Reed Sorenson. Sorenson about a 180-degree angle in the air with a huge hit. More guys piling in. Sadler, Jarrett, Terry Labonte, and the caution is out. Now we get back underway here on lap 13 is the 6 of Martin and the 11 of Denny Hamlin, the rookie leading us to the green flag. The rest of the pack just catching up as we cross the start-finish line and go through this tri-oval into turn 1. So after that big crash, a ton of cars out of the race, including both Robert Yates Racing cars, Matt Kenseth, Dave Blaney, Ken Schrader, Ryan Newman, Reed Sorenson, Kurt Busch, Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon, and more. So we're down to just about 30 cars left in this race after the big one that struck early in this race on lap 7. And now Scott Riggs in the 10 on the inside lane, driving his way into the race lead by Denny Hamlin after Martin got to the outside wall, pushing the issue a little too much. Riggs lead on lap 67, but another caution has come out. Trouble down the front straightaway. That is Johnny Sauter in the 70 and the 32 of Travis Kvapil, who have gone spinning to the outside wall, collecting Martin Truex Jr., and bringing out our second caution of the night here on lap 67. Sauter making his first start in that Haas CNC Racing number 70, Best Buy Chevrolet. Was doing pretty solid, having a pretty solid run. That wreck definitely not going to help him. Now we get back underway in lap 72. Jimmie Johnson now restarts back on the front row on the outside of the 10 of Scott Riggs, as they will now do battle for the race lead into turn 1. These two both so strong so far today. Scott Riggs having one of the best runs of his entire Cup Series career so far, up here at the front, fighting for the lead, leading laps. Jimmie Johnson in the 48, of course, always good here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway, especially since that's his sponsor on the hood of his race cars. Jimmie, what a move, a 3-wide pass on the outside, holds off Martin and Kyle Busch. A great pass right there by Jimmie Johnson, who now makes his way into the race lead here on lap 97. And just 4 to go in stage 1. Jimmie Johnson now takes the race lead away from Scott Riggs, who is driving away with it. And now he's going to put another lap on his teammate of Brian Vickers, who is struggling in this race today. Now just 3 to go on the stage. Riggs on the inside of Johnson. The caution's out on the racetrack, which means this is going to end the stage. Something has gone awry. Dale Earnhardt Jr. head on into the outside wall. A hard crash in turn 1 and 2. Jr., who won the Daytona 500, our last crown jewel race, will not be able to win the 600 And Dale Jr. is out of the race and out of the next L5 challenge for this race as well. And that gets Jimmie Johnson his 5th stage win of the season. He wins stage 1 here in the 600. Riggs 2nd, Hamlin 3rd, Jamie McMurray 4th, Kyle Busch 5th, Mark Martin 6th, Robby Gordon 7th, followed by Jeremy Mayfield in 8th, Joe Nemechek in 9th, and Kasey Kahne 1 lap down, rounds out your top 10. So Jimmie Johnson dominates and wins. Well, Jimmie Johnson takes over late from the dominant Scott Riggs and wins stage 1 here in the Coca-Cola 600. Now here we are back underway on lap 103. Johnson trying to hold the lead, but he was a little too high, and here comes the 10 of Scott Riggs once again. The Valvoline Dodge on a roll today. Scott Riggs to the race lead here in the Coke 600 early in stage 2. Now a little bit later on that same restart, Jamie McMurray just randomly popped up the racetrack, ended up putting himself and Kyle Busch in the wall, damaging both race cars. Just keep note of that little minor incident that will affect both drivers' races for sure as we go off here into 3 and 4. So damage to McMurray and Kyle Busch were both running extremely well. Meanwhile, Scott Riggs continues to impress, leading at the front of this field in the Coca-Cola 600. And now we get back into lap 118. The 10 of Scott Riggs is out of the race with a camshaft failure, and we got Clint Bowyer blowing up in the background. The 07 of Bowyer and the 29 of Kevin Harvick have smoke pouring out the back of their race cars because the classic NR2003 glitch strikes once again. They phase together on the restart, and Harvick and Bowyer are now both destroyed, and Clint Bowyer's rookie season from hell continues. He has absolutely no luck. He is out, and Kevin Harvick as well, who's been so consistent this season, will now also be out of this race. But like I was saying, Scott Riggs also DNF'd. He had a camshaft failure for some reason under yellow between stage 1 and stage 2 here. So it's the 10 of Scott Riggs, who is dominating this race, led 80 laps, is now out of this race, and it's down to Denny Hamlin in a 1v1 duel with Jimmie Johnson. With Hamlin a nose ahead, Jimmie Johnson sends it into turn 3 and 4. Can he get the nose ahead? Yes, he does. Jimmie Johnson takes the lead away from Denny Hamlin here in the Coca-Cola 600 on lap 120. As we actually stay green, no caution for that Bowyer-Harvick incident. So now we continue on lap 146. Hamlin now is still in the lead, but Jimmie Johnson once again, I want to hit the crossover move. Going into turn 1, here comes the 48 once more, and now Jimmie Johnson to the inside trying to take the lead away. Can he do it? Not quite. Now he will. Johnson gets clear of Denny Hamlin. Hamlin got a little too high up the racetrack. Help from Kasey Kahne shoves Jimmie Johnson back into the race lead here in the Coca-Cola 600, and now on lap 170, Kyle Busch has had a gearbox failure. What are all these mechanical failures out of nowhere today? First, you got Scott Riggs having his camshaft fail after dominating this race, and now Kyle Busch has a gearbox go on him when running in the top 5. And so now Kyle Busch is out of this race, and a great run for him is ruined. As Johnson leading just came down for his scheduled green flag pit stop, giving the lead to the 11 of Denny Hamlin. Here comes the 55 of Michael Waltrip off the pit road, merging into the track behind him into the wall. Carl Edwards puts Michael Waltrip in the wall. Big damage to the 55 Dodge, and Michael Waltrip's hopes for the next L5 challenge are going to come to an end, as this crash will take him out of the race when he was just coming back off pit road. And now Jimmie Johnson cycles out to be the race leader here on lap 176 with 25 to go in stage 2. It's looking like it's another Jimmie Johnson stage win on the books here. It's now through turns 3 and 4 at Lowesmore Speedway for the final time of the stage. Jimmie Johnson is going to dominate and win stage 2, sweeping the first 2 out of 4 stages here today in the Coke 600. Hamlin comes across second. Mark Martin will be third. 1 lap down, Kasey Kahne and Robby Gordon round out the top 5, followed by Jamie McMurray in 6th. Then 2 laps down, Jeff Burton in 7th. Greg Biffle in 8th. And then 3 laps down, Travis Kvapil in 9th. And the final stage point goes to Martin Truex Jr. So there you go, Jimmie Johnson, so far 2 for 2 here in the Coke 600, winning stage 1 and stage 2. Now with his total up to 6 stage wins on the season, really establishing himself as the clear championship favorite. He has been absolutely phenomenal. And now on lap 205, he's leading to begin stage 3, and he's coming down pit road. What is the 48 doing? Jimmie Johnson is pitting under green from the lead for no apparent reason, has put himself now in a very much compromised position the rest of this race. So we're going to throw a yellow here, and that's going to get, of course, Denny Hamlin the race lead. The 78 of Kenny Wallace just blew a motor into Truex, and around goes the 1. Truex spinning through the triangle into Terry Labonte, and the caution will come out. Mark Martin barely avoiding disasters. A 78 of Kenny Wallace in his Furniture Row Racing Chevy just blows a motor out of nowhere. Our third or fourth mechanical failure of the day collects poor Martin Truex, who had just nowhere to go right there. He gets spun around and bounced between a couple of guys, and that saves Jimmie Johnson from going more than one lap down. Very fortunate. And now Hamlin gets us back underway here on lap 222. So 79 to go in stage number 3. Hamlin back out front and having another impressive rookie performance. 3 wide back here. Johnson almost wrecking. Same thing with McMurray and JJ Yeley. All these guys got to be extremely careful, racing dangerously here in the Coke 600, fighting for position. But it's Denny Hamlin out front. Jeff Burton having a great run today. Saying now the 11 and Denny Hamlin's going to come down pit road as well. He did the same thing Jimmie Johnson did. What is happening in the Coke 600? Just these drivers are losing their mind. First, Jimmie Johnson gives up a lap, and now Denny Hamlin does. And guess what? Now Kasey Kahne from a lap down is back leading this race on lap 224. And now into lap 248, 3 wide for second in trouble on the outside wall. There goes Jimmie Johnson, crashing with Greg Biffle, who collects his teammate of Mark Martin. And it's disaster for Roush Racing again. Here in the Coke 600, Biffle clears, does not give Jimmie Johnson enough room. They get into it, they spin in the outside wall. Mark Martin gets drilled by his teammate, and then right down into Jamie McMurray just to add insult to injury. And there goes 3 Roush cars, joining Matt Kenseth in the garage, leaving just one, that being Carl Edwards in this race. Kasey Kahne, the leader, here on lap, later in this race, here going to be lap 253. Him and Jimmie Johnson, Zach got Jimmie Johnson back on the lead lap, so the 48 back in the game, and now Jimmie Johnson back leading the Coke 600 here in Charlotte. So now Johnson leads over Jeff Burton and Kasey Kahne. No, caution is out. Trouble. Carl Edwards and Travis Kvapil have spun around. Martin Truex Jr. also involved in a crash here. I believe Sterling Marlin was also in it. The 14th heavy damage. Yeah, he's destroyed on the apron there. So lap 160, caution comes out. Sorry, lap 260, caution comes out for those guys. So Sterling Marlin's out of this race. And now Kasey Kahne to the inside of Jimmie Johnson looking for the race lead. Here with just 15 to go in the third stage of racing. Kasey Kahne to the inside. He will take the lead away from Jimmie Johnson. Kasey Kahne back to the lead here in the Coke 600. Can he finally get that win and get a good hand of luck? And now caution has come out a little bit later. So now you have a restart here with just 2 to go in stage 3. So it's going to be a 2-lap shootout here. And Jimmie Johnson just got absolutely cooked on that restart by Denny Hamlin in the 11, who is your leader right now, and is looking to bring home his second stage win of his career so far. But Jimmie Johnson back to the inside lane to turn 3, but now the 48 again is going to come down pit road under green for no reason. Oh my goodness. What is happening here in the Coke 600? It's the second time Jimmie Johnson has done that. He'll have to fight back from a lap down for the second time tonight. I mean, how much more can this guy take? Hamlin still leading, looking to bring home the stage 3 win thanks to Jimmie Johnson's incompetence. And now he just has to hold off the 31 of Jeff Burton. Yeah, it may say Mayfield scored ahead of him, but Mayfield is a couple laps down, as this is obviously a second version of the race. But the final race results, I'll give you that at the end in a document in the description. But it's Denny Hamlin who will win stage 3 here in the Coke 600, holding off Jeff Burton, who comes across in second. And then you got Kasey Kahne coming across in third. Jimmie Johnson will be fourth, followed by Jeremy Mayfield, JJ Yeley, Truex, all these other guys, Johnny Sauter, Travis Kvapil, Jeff Green. So Denny Hamlin wins stage 3 after Jimmie Johnson swept the first 2 stages here in the Coke 600. Now back underway in the 4th and final stage of racing. 96 laps to go. Denny Hamlin comfortably out front here in the race lead by over Jeff Burton by about a car length. Jeremy Mayfield is multiple laps down, so I would not count him as leader of this race. Now, how about the 31? Jeff Burton to the inside lane, now driving his way into the race lead for the first time tonight. Jeff Burton out front here in the Coca-Cola 600 in his RCR Chevrolet, trying to break a 194 race winless streak. Now here on that 56, Kasey Kahne, JJ Yeley, massive impact. Oh my goodness. What a hellacious crash for Kasey Kahne. Probably the worst angle of impact I may have ever seen in my life. Kasey Kahne goes head on directly into the opening, and the safer barrier comes flying out like a bullet right into J.J. Yeley's door, who comes flying up the track into the rest of the field. I mean, oh my goodness, that full speed hit is vicious. A brutal, brutal impact for Kasey Kahne. Shades of Elliott Sadler at Pocono in, I believe, 2010. That crash where we never got a real camera angle of it in real life. Kasey Kahne now is completely destroyed from the worst impact I have ever seen in my life. I mean, that was a horrible, horrible crash. Vickers, Yeley, Truex, Terry Labonte, Wimmer, Edwards all collected as well. And Kasey Kahne gets dealt a bad hand by Lady Luck once again here. No luck for him this season. And now he's back here in the Coke 600. Denny Hamlin is back out front, continuing to impress in his rookie season, looking to get his second win of his rookie season already, and no bigger race than the Coca-Cola 600, one of our crown jewels this season. That didn't last long. Jimmie Johnson, who has finally climbed his way back on the lead lap, has now gotten his way back into the lead with 69 to go here in the Coke 600. Jimmie Johnson in the 48 out front, and now here we are with 24 to go. Here comes Jeff Burton, the 31. It's been 6 years, over 6 years since he's last won a race. He has not won since Phoenix in November of 2000. He's on a 194 race winless streak, and here comes the 48 of Jimmie Johnson back to the inside, trying to break the heart of Jeff Burton, who's trying to pull off what would be such an emotional, heartfelt victory, breaking a near 200 race winless streak. Johnson to the lead with just 21 to go, and the Coke 600 now 3 to go, coming to just 2 to go. Here comes Jeff Burton, the 31 of the run of a lifetime. Can he pull off the upset and beat Jimmie Johnson here at Lowe's Motor Speedway to get his first win since 2000, snapping a 194 race drought, one of the longest in the history of NASCAR? Here comes Burton. He takes the lead into 3 and 4. Jimmie Johnson still with an opportunity, though, to charge back and make a pass through 3 and 4. White flag in the air. Final lap presented by Credit One Bank here at Lowe's Motor Speedway for Jeff Burton. He already has clinched the next L5 Challenge $100,000 bonus. So he's trying to make this night even better by snapping a 6-year winless drought. Easily, but Jimmie Johnson has to run down the backstretch. Here comes the 48. Johnson to the inside, trying to steal it back on the last lap. Does he have enough momentum? No. Jimmie Johnson doesn't get the run he needs, and through turn 4, Jeff Burton has finally won. He wins the Coke 600, snapping a 194 race winless streak. What a moment for Jeff Burton. And that is career win number 16. And he led just 9 laps in this race, but led the most important one, the last one, stealing it from Jimmie Johnson, who once again leaves Charlotte without a victory, coming home in 2nd place in the Coca-Cola 600 after he had it almost in the bag. Fumbles it away in the last 2 laps, and now Jeff Burton has won once again. The final race results will be in the description down below, so y'all can check that out if you want to see the full final race results. And that's the updated playoff grid momentarily. Now here's your updated chase grid after 12 races, so 14 to go in the regular season. Jimmie Johnson now with a massive 161-point lead over Tony Stewart for that regular season title. Johnson well on his way to being the favorite come chase time in November. And then you got Mark Martin back into 3rd in points. Him, Kyle Busch, Harvick, Carl Edwards, all with comfortable gaps. Jeff Burton with the huge, huge win, snapping the 194 race winless streak. Jumps all the way back up to 7th in points, now pretty comfortably inside the chase. Kenseth, Biffle, and Casey Mears hold the last 3 spots by a combined 29 points. So they're still very much on that bubble, fighting with Jeff Gordon, who now falls below the cut line for the first time all season, and Dale Earnhardt Jr., who are trying to find their way through. Hamlin also jumped up to 16th in points. So a huge win for Jeff Burton. And as we end this episode, as always, I want to give a special shout out to my channel members. Thank you very much to Brenda Breen and Jeremy Isley. I really appreciate your guys' support. It means a lot to me, helps this channel continue to grow and do some amazing things on our road to 1,000 subscribers. We have just recently eclipsed 900 subscribers, so let's keep going. If you guys are watching this and are not subscribed, please do subscribe. I really appreciate it. It's completely free. It only takes a couple of seconds and really helps this channel in the long run. So until next episode, I hope you all have a good one.